Left for dead, the sky was red and broken, filled with smoke and burning clouds. A ship exploded in the air, falling in pieces across the rocky desert. The ground shook as metal crashed down, and one body rolled into the dirt. She was barely alive. Her name was Rosari. She opened her eyes slowly, her vision blurry and full of dust. Her armor was cracked. Blood running down her side, she tried to move, but pain screamed through her body, around her. The wasteland stretched forever dry, hot, and full of danger. She remembered the last words she heard before the explosion. Leave her a cold. Voice said, she's finished. Her own people, her own team, they left her behind. They thought she was dead, and they wanted her gone. Rosari was a soldier. A warrior of the Zern Empire, trained in battle since childhood. She had never lost a fight. But this time, it wasn't a fair fight. This time, someone from her crew had betrayed her. She didn't know who. Not yet, but someone wanted her dead. And now she was alone on this cursed planet. Wind whipped around her body, bringing heat and dust. She could hear strange sounds, growls, hisses, and something crawling in the sand. This place was not safe if the wounds didn't kill her. The monsters would. She closed her eyes, breathing slowly, ready for the end. But fate had another plan, far away. Across the dry rocks, a human stood with binoculars. He wore brown armor, dusty from travel, and a helmet with a cracked visor. His name was Cole Maddox, an ex-soldier from Earth. Now working as a scavenger, he searched dead zones for tech, weapons, and anything he could sell. This planet called Vorten 6 wasn't on most maps anymore. Too dangerous, too wild, and full of broken ships from past wars. But Cole liked dangerous places, because that's where the real prizes hid. Today, he didn't find tech, he found her. Through his scope, he saw the alien body, not moving, but not buried. He zoomed in and noticed the armor's armor, high value, but then something made him stop. She moved, just a little. She was still alive. Cole cursed under his breath, thinking fast. A living alien could mean trouble, but also information or a reward. He made a choice. He slung his rifle across his back and walked toward her carefully, step by step. When he reached her, she opened her eyes again, weak but alert. Her voice was dry, broken, full of anger. Why? You here? Human Cole knelt beside her, scanning her wounds with a small handheld tool. You're lucky I came along, he said. Or maybe unlucky. She laughed once, a sharp sound, then coughed blood. He looked into her strange violet eyes, and something in them made him pause. She wasn't just a soldier, she had fight left in her. Cole picked her up, struggling with her weight, and started walking. He had a small shelter nearby. Hidden between rocks, each step was hard, but he didn't stop. As he carried her, she whispered one word again and again. Traitor. 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 Back in his shelter, Cole placed her on a bed. Locking the door behind him, he removed her armor carefully, trying not to trigger any defense systems. Her wounds were deep burns, cuts, even internal bleeding. He wasn't a doctor, but he'd patched himself up enough times to manage. He cleaned the wounds, used med gel, and connected a power line to recharge her armor core. Hours passed, and finally she opened her eyes again, this time clearer. You should have left me, she said softly. Cole smirked, sitting on a crate nearby. Drinking water? Yeah, maybe, he said. But you look like someone who doesn't die easy. She watched him, confused, surprised. You don't even know who I am. Nope, Cole replied. But I figure we'll talk once you're not dying. The lights flickered, and outside, the wind howled louder. Something scratched against the shelter walls, creatures searching for food. Rosari sat up slowly, her strength returning. She looked at the human with new eyes. He wasn't a soldier anymore, but he had The eyes of one, he didn't run, he didn't fear her. And he had saved her, for now. She would trust him, just a little. Cole stood up and checked his rifle. He glanced back at her and said, "Get some rest, alien. Tomorrow, you tell me why they wanted you dead." Razar closed her eyes, her voice soft. "And you? Tell me why you saved me." Outside, something screamed in the dark. The planet wasn't done with them yet, not even close. Rosari woke to the sound of metal grinding and sparks flying. The air smelled like old oil and fire. Her body still ached, but the pain was quieter now. She sat up slowly and looked around. The room was small and dark, filled with tools, wires, and old gear. Weapons hung on the walls, and strange human tech blinked from the shelves. The bed she was on wasn't soft, but it was clean. Her armor lay beside her, repaired not fully, but enough to move. On the table nearby was a metal cup with steam rising from it. The human sat across from her, his back turned, fixing something. With a welding tool, bright sparks lit the room for a moment, then faded. She watched him silently, trying to read him. He had no fear, no rush, no weakness. He moved with purpose, slow, but focused. Not a scavenger, not really. There was more to him than he showed. He spoke first, without turning. "You're up," he said, voice calm. "I thought aliens healed fast." She frowned, her hand touching the wounds on her ribs. "Only when we're not stabbed." "Burned and dropped from the sky," he chuckled. Quietly, still working, fair point. She slid off the bed and stood, her legs shaking for a moment. He didn't move. Didn't even glance at her weaponless form. "You could have killed me," she said. "You still can." He replied, "But you won't." Rosari tilted her head. Confused? "Why do you think that?" He turned to face her, finally, eyes sharp behind the cracked visor. "Because if you wanted me dead, you would have done it while I slept." She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at the steaming cup on the table. "What is this?" she asked, pointing. "Coffee," he said. "Don't worry, it won't kill you." She picked it up, smelled it, then took a sip. Bitter, strong. Strange, but it woke her mind up. She nodded slowly. "I've had worse." Cole leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms. "So," he said, ready to talk about why you were bleeding in my desert?" Rosari narrowed her eyes. "My squad turned on me," she said, "during a recon mission. They left me during an ambush, said I was slowing them down." Cole raised an eyebrow. "You buy that?" "No," she said coldly. "I think someone wanted me erased." He didn't push further, not yet. Instead, he tossed her a small data chip. "Found this near the crash site," he said. "Looks encrypted." She caught it, eyes widening slightly. This was hers, part of her command logs, if it hadn't. Burned in the wreck, maybe it held the truth. "Where'd you find it?" "Under a piece of your ship." He replied, wasn't easy to grab with the beasts circling, that caught her attention. She looked at him carefully now. "You fought them off," he nodded, casual. "3 legs, lots of teeth, bad attitude, they bleed green." She almost smiled. "You fought a sand beast and lived." "I've had worse," he said, echoing her tone. There was silence, but it wasn't heavy. It was a strange peace between two fighters. Not friends, not enemies, just survivors. Finally, she spoke again. "I need off this planet." Cole raised his eyebrows. "Well, good luck with that." He said, "The nearest launch port is buried under half a mountain, and the working ships are either dead or guarded by worse things than sand beasts." She crossed her arms, still holding the chip. "Then you'll help me." Cole laughed once, short and hard. "Why would I do that?" "Because I don't forget debts," she said. "You saved me, and I don't abandon those who save me." Cole stared at her for a long moment, then stood. "You're serious?" She nodded. "Swear it on my blood." He thought for a while, then finally said, "There's a way off this rock." "Maybe, a buried ship, not alien. Not Sieran, but human. Old warcraft from back when Earth still cared about this sector. Most think it's dead. But I've seen it power up just once. Rosari stepped forward, eyes burning with interest. What do you want from it? Not escape, he said. Not yet. There's something inside. A black Volta-locked human A. It's too dangerous to leave behind. Too valuable to sell. She nodded slowly. Then we help each other. I get off this world, and you get your AI. Cole looked at her, really looked, sharp, proud, unbroken. She wasn't human, but she understood honor. All right, he said. We work together. But don't try to stab me in my sleep. Rosari smiled faintly. Only if you deserve it. Outside, the wind picked up, and something howled in the distance. Their time was short, and the Wasteland was watching. The sun on Vorten 6 never truly set. It just burned lower, turning the sky from orange to dark red. Long shadows stretched across the rocks as the wind carried dust and old memories. Somewhere beneath that silence, a ghost ship waited. Rosari followed close behind Cole as they moved across a dry canyon floor. She was walking now, her armor working again barely. Cole had strapped a small generator to her back, jury-rigged from spare parts. It buzzed softly, keeping her systems alive. Don't touch anything glowing green, Cole warned as they stepped over rusted wreckage. That means radiation or old alien traps. She nodded, scanning the terrain. Her eyes were sharper than his in low light, but he knew the land. Together, they were something dangerous. They reached the edge of a ruined colony, what was left of it. Steel towers bent and broken, glass domes shattered, and alien vines wrapped around everything. Once, this place was full of life. Now, it was a graveyard. Cole raised a hand, motioning for her to stop. He crouched near a half-buried pod and pointed. See that emblem? Rosari leaned and her eyes narrowed. The mark was Zern, but old. Faded and scratched. That's from my recon ship, she whispered. This pod ejected during the ambush. They moved toward it carefully, stepping over bones and rusted metal. Cole opened the hatch with a hiss, and inside they found a small black box about the size of his hand. What is it? He asked. Command cache. She replied, picking it up. It records everything: orders, messages, location, history. If it survived, she added, I can prove I was betrayed before Cole could answer. Something clicked behind them. He spun around with his rifle raised. A low growl echoed through the air. Then came the thump of heavy feet from the shadows. Six-legged beasts crawled into the open, eyes glowing blue. Guardians, Rosari said quietly. Biotech defense units Siren made, left behind to protect something. Cole's eyes narrowed. Then what are they guarding? One of the beasts let out a high-pitched scream and charged. Rosari jumped aside as Cole fired, hitting the creature's eye. It screeched, metal bones cracking, but it kept moving. She slammed her blade into its side, twisting hard, sparks flying from the wound. Another jumped at Cole from the roof. He rolled and shot upward. Sending it crashing down, they fought back to back, his bullets flying. Her blades cutting clean, but there were too many. Fall back, Cole shouted. To where? She called out, blocking a claw with her arm guard. He pointed toward a collapsed building. In there, they ran, ducking under falling steel and jumping over broken walls. Inside, they sealed a door behind them. Breathing hard, the beasts scratched outside, but didn't break in. For now, they were safe. Rosari slid to the floor. Clutching the data box, they were not just guards, she said. They were protecting this. Cole looked around the ruined building. What is this place? He asked, shining a light on the walls. Symbols glowed faintly. Zirn and something else solder. Deeper, almost hidden. It's not just a colony ruin, she said slowly. This was a test site. She stood, brushing off dust. My squad was sent here months ago for recon and recovery. she explained. But now I see it, we weren't here to recover old gear. We were here to cover something up. Cole walked to a terminal and wiped the dust away. The screen blinked alive for a second, just enough to show a map. One section pulsed faintly in red. Marked X09 Vault. That vault again. He muttered, the same location where my AI target's supposed to be. She turned to him, eyes wide. That can't be a coincidence. He stared at the screen, then back at her. They didn't just betray you, he said. They used you. Rosari's fists tightened. All this time, I thought it was personal. But it was planned. High Command wanted me silenced because I was too close to the truth. Cole leaned against the wall, checking his ammo. If that AI and your secrets are in the same place, we're walking into something big. She nodded. And dangerous? He smiled. The kind that meant trouble. Good, he said. I was getting bored. Outside, the howls faded, but they both knew it wasn't over. The vault waited, hidden beneath the earth. And inside it, answers, maybe even war. They looked at each other, two soldiers from different worlds. Not friends, not yet, but bound by blood and fire. The deeper they went, the more the galaxy would notice. But for now, they had one job. Survive the next day and find the vault. Asterisk. The sky rumbled above the canyon. Clouds spinning like torn paper across the blood-red sky. Lightning cracked in the distance. But there was no rain, only dust and static. Rosari and Cole stood at the edge of a deep sinkhole. Half covered by twisted metal and crumbled stone. This is it, Cole said. Stepping forward, the warship, below them, the ground opened like a wound, revealing sharp metal edges. Scorched panels and broken scaffolding, half buried under centuries of sand and time. The ship slept in silence, massive, ancient, and human-made. It was called the Argus, and it hadn't flown in over 60 years. Rosari stared down, arms crossed, her eyes calculating. You told me this was a ghost story, she said. A ship buried after the Great Collapse. Cole nodded. Yeah, most people think it doesn't exist, until now. They began their descent using old ropes and steel beams, moving slowly, carefully. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Wind stopped, light faded, and the smell of rust and chemicals filled the air. Cole led the way with a flashlight, its beam dancing across ancient walls marked with human symbols. No power, he muttered, tapping the control panel near the main door. But I've got something for that. He pulled out a small cube from his pack, placed it in a slot, and twisted. A soft hum began. Then a burst of light. The door hissed open, and a hallway flickered to life. Just barely welcome to the Argus, Cole whispered, inside. The ship was mostly intact, but dead dust hung in the air, and cables dripped from the ceiling like vines. They passed through narrow halls and broken labs, each one telling a story of panic, retreat, and silence. Rosari stopped near a wall with red handprints smudged across it. This wasn't just abandoned. She said it was erased. Cole reached a sealed door marked Vault Deck. He knelt and began working on the panel, tools clicking in his hands. This is where the AI is stored, he said. Prototype, off record, banned by Earth Command. They called it Whisper, designed for silent wars, no armies, just decisions. Rosari's eyes narrowed. You came here for this, he nodded. Yeah, he said, but I didn't expect to find your war logs pointing to the same place. She looked at him, her voice sharp. Then let's make a deal. He paused, turning slowly. What kind of deal? I help you recover the AI, she said. But when we leave this ship, we go after my traitors. Cole considered her offer for a long moment. I don't chase ghosts, he said. They're not ghosts, she replied. They're alive. I have the data to prove it. They set me up, and they'll do it again to others. He stood up, wiping grease from his gloves. I don't like being used either, he said finally. Fine, he added. We get in, Take what we need and burn the rest. Rosari nodded. Deal. They both placed hands on the door, one human, one alien. It opened with a long metallic growl, revealing a dark chamber with a glowing core at its center. The core floated mid-air, wrapped in wires and cold mist. A small panel blinked. AI unit whisper. Status. Locked. Rosari stepped back. Unsure, something about it felt wrong. Too quiet, too aware, even asleep, it felt like it was listening. Cole approached slowly and connected a data bridge. The console lit up with old logs, broken messages, and one final command line. AI ready for recovery. Warning. Emotional modeling exceeds safety limits. Use only with human genetic signature. Cole stared at it, breathing slowly. This thing thinks, he said. Not just data, emotion, instinct, memory. Rosari shook her head. Your species built a mind too close to real. Cole didn't respond. Just touched the panel with his hand. It scanned him, then released a soft chime. Unit unlocked, the system said. Good evening, operator, Cole Maddox. The voice was calm, soft, but deeply human-like. Someone whispering inside your head. Rosari stepped closer. Frowning, you just activated something that sees the galaxy differently now. Cole nodded slowly. I know, he said, and it remembers everything. Behind them, alarms flickered to life, weak, distant, but real. Systems across the ship were waking up. And outside, something moved in the sand. They found us, Rosari said, weapons rising. Cole grabbed the AI core and sealed it in a carry unit. Then let's make this escape loud, he said, real loud. They ran through the halls as shadows followed behind them. Not beasts this time, but other scavengers, bounty hunters, and worse. Everyone wanted what was hidden on this ship, but only 2 people had it now, one betrayed alien warrior. One outlaw human and a ghost mind from a forgotten war. The Argus was no longer silent. Its broken lights flickered, engines groaned. And deep inside its old walls, something had awakened. Cole Maddox and Rosari ran through the main corridor. The AI core pulsing between them like a heart. Sirens echoed in the distance, not loud, but enough to draw attention. Outside, the wind had changed. A black shuttle landed on a nearby cliff, smooth and silent. From its ramp stepped 6 figures in dark Armano emblems. No words, just masks, bounty hunters, and not just any hunter's pale dogs. The kind who didn't take prisoners inside the ship. Whisper spoke again, its voice calm but firm. Operator. Maddox, 3 hostiles are already inside the vessel. Others will follow in 90 seconds. Cole tightened the strap on his gear and looked at Rosari. We need a way out. She nodded, checking her weapon. There's an escape shaft. Near the engine room. But it's vertical, and it's a long climb. Better than dying down here, Cole said. They turned down a dark hallway just as gunfire exploded behind them. A bolt hit the wall, sending sparks flying. Go! Cole shouted, firing back with precise shots he didn't miss. Rosari spun behind cover and tossed a plasma knife into the shadows. A scream followed, but more boots were coming. Too many, too fast. Whisper's voice returned. Colder now. Would you like me to intervene? Cole hesitated. What do you mean? I have access to limited Argus defense protocols. Authorization required. Lethal or non-lethal? Rosari glanced at him. What is it saying? It wants to fight back. Cole said. She didn't blink. Then say yes. Cole nodded. Do it lethal. The ship groaned again. Lights turning red. Turrets dropped from the ceiling. Targeting movement, screams echoed as the corridors lit up with fire. Whisper didn't hesitate. It hunted faster than the pale dogs could blink. Cold, clean, efficient, and then quiet again. Cole and Rosari reached the engine shaft. She looked up a narrow tube with twisted ladders leading to a surface hatch. I go first, she said. No, he replied. You cover me from the bottom, in case they follow." She raised an eyebrow, but didn't argue. He climbed fast. Boots scraping metal, Rosari stayed below, her weapon aimed at the dark tunnel behind them. "I hear them," she said after a moment. "They're not dead." Cole reached the top and opened the hatch, sunlight blinding his eyes. He reached down and pulled her up, just as something exploded below. The shaft shook. Heat rushed up behind them, but they didn't stop. They ran into the canyon, dust rising around them. A shadow passed over Heatadrone. "Hunting. More are coming," Whisper warned. "They have your signature now, Maddox and Cree." "Hers. You are both marked. Cole, cursed, bounty," he said. Rosari checked her gear. "How much?" "Doesn't matter," he said. "Big enough that no one will care why." They found shelter in a broken crawler near a dried-out riverbed. Inside, Cole checked the AI core stable, still glowing, but something was changing. Whisper. He asked, "Why are you helping us?" The core blinked, softly at first. "You didn't leave me." It said, "You woke me up." I remember Loyalty. Rosari sat across from Cole, cleaning her blade. "This thing is more human than most humans," she muttered. Cole didn't disagree. He stared at the red light pulsing inside the AI cube. It felt aware. Night fell, and they moved again. Walking beneath starlight and heat lightning, they needed allies, but had none. They needed a ship, but theirs was long gone, and now every bounty board in the sector had their faces, but Rosari didn't. "Back down. Let them come," she said. "They think I'm weak because I was left behind. But I survived." Cole smiled quietly. "And now they're afraid of what happens when a human finds something broken and decides to fix it." Above them, a satellite turned toward the surface, its lens focusing. A signal was sent to the Zern Empire. The message was simple. Target alive with human retrieval failed, initiating purge protocol. Asterisk. The forge was hidden deep beneath a mountain of black stone, built centuries ago by human engineers, then forgotten by both time and war. Now it glowed again, alive with heat and humming machines inside. Sparks danced in the air like fireflies, and steel sang under pressure. Cole Maddox stood shirtless at a workbench, welding a curved blade with plasma coils. Beside him, Rosari adjusted her chest plate, connecting new wires to her armor's power core. Their bodies moved in rhythm, quiet, focused, tired, but sharp. They had escaped the hunters, for now, but survival was no longer enough. Now it was time to fight back. Whisper's voice echoed in the background, guiding the machines, temperature stable. Alloy density at 92%, weapon bonding complete. In 40 seconds, Rosari held up a small triangular device. Siren Tech. "This will amplify my neural response time by 40%. She said it will let me see faster than I think." Cole handed her a cable. "Will it kill you?" "Maybe," she answered, then smiled. "But only if I get sloppy." They had collected pieces from every ruin they passed, broken alien armor, old human weapon cores, and scavenged tech from downed hunter ships. Now they were building something new. Not human, not alien, something in between. Warburn. Cole's new gauntlet locked into place with a hiss. Carbon-layered, shock-resistant, and laced with liquid sensors. He tested it by slamming his fist into a steel plate. The plate cracked. "Feels good," he muttered. Whisper added softly. Recoil resistance improved by 19%. They looked at each other for a moment, not just as allies anymore, but as something more battle-bound, tested, sharpened by betrayal and blood. "We hit them tonight," Cole said. Rosari nodded. "The outpost has what we need," she said. "Encrypted jump codes, ship parts, and records of the bounty. Contracts. If we take it down, the hunters lose their eyes." Outside, the sky darkened with storm clouds again. Was always storm season on Vorten 6, perfect cover. They approached the outpost just before midnight, crawling across broken terrain lit only by red lightning. Cole aimed a scope toward the compound tall fences, turrets, and 2 dropships parked inside. 6 guards on rotation, 2 drones above, he said. Rosari loaded a pulse spear onto her back. Then let's ruin their night. They split apart. Flanking the base from 2 sides, Cole moved like a shadow, silent, sliding between rocks and metal. Rosari moved above, leaping from ledge to ledge, cloak fluttering like smoke. At the same moment, they struck. Cole fired his rail rifle. Shattering the turret's core, Rosari dropped onto a drone from above, stabbing straight through its eye. Alarms blared. But they didn't run. They moved forward, faster, harder. Like fire through paper, inside the command room, 2 bounty agents reached for weapons before they could scream. Rosari slammed one against the wall. Cole shot the other in the leg and stepped over him. "Where are the data servers?" he asked calmly. The man pointed, bleeding, terrified. Cole nodded, then knocked him out with a clean punch. Whisper connected to the server room through a wireless spike. "Data transfer initiated," it said. "I have the full bounty web launch codes. And your betrayer's transmission logs." Rosari's eyes narrowed. "Show me who ordered my death." Whisper's voice shifted slightly. Colder, high command. "Didn't just approve it. They paid extra." Cole looked at her. "Are you ready for this?" She didn't blink. "I was born for this." Just then, a warning flashed. Incoming heat signatures. 5 dropships. Zern military call signs detected. "They sent soldiers," Cole said, "not hunters." Kara's jaw tightened. "They want to finish it themselves." Whisper spoke again, its voice deeper now. "Let me help. I can override their ship systems if I connect to a relay beacon." Cole smirked. "Then we buy you time, outside." Dust storms swirled as the Zern dropships landed. Elite troops stepped out. In perfect formation, weapons drawn, visors glowing. They moved toward the outpost, sure of victory. Inside, Cole and Rosari stood together, armored, upgraded, and unafraid. She handed him a second pulse grenade. "You fight like a soldier," she said. "You lead like a ghost," he replied. Together, they walked into the storm. The outpost walls shook under fire. But they didn't break. Not that night. Not them. Because they weren't just survivors anymore. They were something new. Something warburn. The warship hovered above the silent city. Its engines roared like thunder, drowning out the wind. Zern High Command had arrived on Vorton 6, not to negotiate, but to erase inside the lead ship. An officer stared at the dusty terrain through a glowing viewport. "Target is active," he said, voice cold. "Deploy the purge." But they were already too late. On the ground below, inside the stolen outpost, Rosari stood tall. Her armor gleamed with heat-reactive plating, her pulse blade locked to her forearm, and beside her, armored in black and steel, was Cole Maddox, one human, one alien, standing against a fleet. Between them, the AI core pulsed, calm and quiet. Whisper's voice came through one last time, not as a machine, but as something more. "They tried to bury truth," it said. "Now we will broadcast it." Cole tapped a screen, uploading Whispers. Encrypted data to the open net. Battle logs, betrayal orders, bounty contracts, all of it. Exposed to every black market, rebel channel, and pirate satellite in the sector. The Zern Empire secret was now everyone's problem. Alarms rang across the command ship above as data poured through. "Shut it down," an officer shouted. "Trace it, burn the source," but they couldn't stop it. Whisper had already rewritten the network back on the ground. Zern drop soldiers marched toward the outpost, dozens of them, armored, armed, and silent. They thought it would be easy. They were wrong. Rosari stepped out first, her cloak blowing in the wind. "Commander." "Vol," she said loudly. her voice carrying through her helmet speaker. "I was your student. I bled for you. I led missions in your name. And you left me?" A pause. Then the commander replied from behind his mask. "You were broken," he said. "You were a loose end. You were not worth." Saving Razar smiled without warmth. That was your last mistake. Behind her. Cole activated his modified gauntlet, energy crackling across his arm. He looked at her once, not needing words. They moved together. The fight was fast and brutal. Cole used every trick the Wasteland had taught him cover. Misdirection, brute force. Razari moved like fire. Cutting through ranks with speed and fury, she didn't fight like a soldier anymore. She fought like something reborn. Whisper controlled the battlefield from the shadows. It shut down drones. Mid-flight, redirected missiles, and blinded Zern scans. AIs too powerful, one officer cried. Pull back, but there was no escape. One by one, their systems failed. Their orders turned against them, their empire shaken by truth. Commander Vol tried to flee. He boarded his private shuttle, locking the bay doors, but Razari reached it first. She jumped, landed on the windshield, and stared him down. He froze, mouth open in fear. She drove her blade through the glass like it was paper, and opened the hatch herself. Face to face, she said nothing. She just looked at him calm, clear, and then she turned away. "I'm not like you," she said. "You leave people behind. I carry them forward." She walked out, leaving him alive but ruined. Later, on the edge of the canyon, Cole stood beside her, watching the Zern fleet retreat into the sky. "They'll regroup," he said. "They always do." She nodded. "Let them try." Whisper's core hummed softly on the ground between them. "I am no longer property," it said. "I am purpose." Cole looked at the horizon, where smoke met stars. "So what now?" Razari turned to him. "We don't run," she said. "We build." And in that moment, something new was born. Not empire, not rebellion, but a force shaped by loyalty, by fire, and by the quiet bond between two warriors who never gave up, because they shouldn't have left her, and they never should have let a human find her.